That was funny.
What?
What you were just talking about.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was funny.
I completely agree. Now, some more Seth material. So this is part 2. Is this controversial? The Seth material, is this controversial? Part 2. Are you ready?
No.
Excellent, then I'll begin. Seth goes on to say, think of the language used presently by your governments and diplomats. So what's been in the news today?
Apparently there's some bombs been sent to...
Parcel bombs?
Yes, to some, like, Obama...
Obama, one of the best presidents in the history of mankind. Excuse me, I'll put my sunglasses on because the future's so bright. That wonderful, wonderful man that did such good things for humanity. You do realise that I'm going to go over them piece by piece.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You're molting.
And Clintons and Soros.
What, Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
Well, let's first of all, the good things that Barack Hussein Obama did. Oh, yes.
Right.
Oh, wonderful. Closed Guantanamo Bay.
No, he didn't do that.
Destroyed all nuclear weapons.
No, he didn't do that.
Stopped war.
No, he didn't do that.
Stopped selling weapons.
No, he didn't do that.
And who else got these, George
Soros?
George Soros. Oh, what a fabulous man. That man has done such wonderful things for this planet.
He's actually given 500 million to the migrants to get them to come into Europe.
What a great plan.
Yeah.
I wonder what he plans to do. And who else did you say? Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
George Bush, I was going to say. It's actually Donald Trump now, the same thing really. That Donald Trump says, he said awful, horrible things about her. And he said bad things about Obama, didn't he?
Yeah.
And who else did he say bad things about?
CNN.
Oh, CNN. I bet they got got a package.
Yeah.
What are these packages called? Mail bombs.
Pipe bombs, I think they were. But yeah, postal bombs.
Postal bombs. Postal bombs.
Of course, none of them went off. It's strange that, isn't it? Because, remember the Manchester false flag bombing thing?
The Ariana Grande concert.
Yeah, that blew up. But I think they sent about 6 or 8 bombs to various...
And the ones on the tube in London, they went bang. The ones in New York, they went bang.
Oh, yeah.
But the ones they sent to themselves, whoops, well, that's controversial, isn't it? Didn't go bang. So let me get this right. They found Obama's address. You can Google it, actually. And they found the Clintons' address. Yeah. And they found George Soros' address. Yeah. And CNN.
The head of CNN.
The head of CNN. And then I heard on the news this afternoon, did Robert De Niro's restaurant get one?
Yeah, apparently so.
That's a bit odd. Maybe it's just to promote his restaurant. Yeah? I mean, free publicity. You could jump on that, couldn't you? Now everybody wants to know about this Robert De Niro restaurant. But, well, does that make any sense to you?
No.
What happened to IS?
They're having a day off.
I thought Vladimir Putin and Erdogan, the president of Turkey, got rid of them. Is that why America and Britain are attacking Russia?
Yeah.
And Turkey?
Yeah, well, they wiped out ISIS in Syria, didn't they? So this meant that the Americans and the British and the rest of Europe couldn't have the enemy they'd created to save us from anymore.
Do you know, it's amazing how IS or other terrorist organisations couldn't go online and just type into Google Barack Obama's address. Do it. It'll tell you his exact address. Why? Why? Come on, you can say it together. Why bite the hand that feeds you? And yeah, you got it in stereo. Now that makes sense. So I wonder why they false flagged, nail bombed, parcel bombed themselves. Well,
it could be because they could be in the sealed indictments that Trump's messing around with, and that they want some sympathy. No, they're trying to blow us up. Oh, of course they weren't, because they sent it to themselves. And
so it could be a preface to go to war with somebody else. If they blame, say, a new organisation, the new Al Qaeda, or the new ISIS, or the new whoever's, maybe that's what they might do. It's big business, isn't it?
Oh, money, yeah, money's always involved.
You should stop giving them ideas, you know. Do you know Donald Trump? I remember watching a video cast of his where he said, "Make America Great," and what did he say? I'm a nationalist, not a globalist. No. Okay, well, check this out. The USA have got armed forces in how many countries in the world?
Nearly all of them.
80, that's 1 in 3 countries. Right, and they're still at war with 7 other countries. They're selling weapons all around the planet, and he says he's a nationalist. Anyway, we were talking about Seth Speaks, and Seth says, think of the language used presently by your governments and diplomats.
All lies and deceit.
And they're supposed to be our servants. So I smell something here. Something fishy this time, because it wasn't pigs, and it wasn't sheep, it was bull before. So something fishy's going on here. You ready for some more?
Yeah.
Think of the difference between what your government knows and what it is told, and what is told to the people.
Cancer can't be cured. Cannabis oil has no medical benefits, Theresa May said.
Well, from the 1st of next month, the British government apparently making cannabis and cannabis oil legal in the UK. Whoopee, says all the smokers. Whoopee, say all the people that are dying of horrible and nasty diseases, because if you want to live now, there may be hope. I wonder how that's going to be implemented.
Well,
Excuse me.
You can only get it on special prescription by seeing a special doctor who will only give it to those who he feels.
So they're going to employ Ricky Simpson or somebody like that, are they?
No.
Should be interesting to see how it goes on.
But if the one thing that comes from this is, if it's legal and you can get it on prescription, then they can no longer go after you for growing your own.
Well, you can just go and buy the seeds and chuck your seeds in your garden and watch it grow. It's natural, isn't it?
Of course it is.
How can you be prosecuted or imprisoned? And I was watching one of your videos the other night, and yeah, you said they should all be in jail because they're not looking after us.
Nope.
Yeah, prisons are primarily on board ships for slaves. And what happens to us? So often when you hear a denial in such circumstances, you immediately leap to the correct conclusion that in a month or so an affirmative answer will be given to the same question. Oh, do you know those parcel bombs? It was such and such an organisation. Now we're going to need billions from the public purse to go and sort them out. And you're going to pay for it.
Well, in America, recently they just announced that they've lost track of money again. This time it's $8.3 trillion. It just seemed to fall out of the back of a lorry. A very, very big lorry.
Wonderful at keeping accounts, aren't they? Absolutely fantastic.
Well,
look after the public purse.
Don't forget, that's actually a good point. They lost 8.3 trillion, or they can't track 8.3 trillion. And then these parcel bombs, it says, so that'll distract people from thinking about the 8.3 trillion. Just like on 10/11, where Rumsfeld said, we can't seem to track $2.3 trillion. And then they had 9/11 and everybody forgot about the 2.3 trillion.
Oh, they're so fantastic at their jobs. I mean, keep them in their jobs, keep them in power. Forever. I'll go on. Words, therefore, are often used to cover up as well as to reveal. Exactly what we're talking about. Great efforts are taken so that knowledge is kept, often from a majority and just for a few.
You mean like the Windrush scandal, where Savage Javid voted to keep it hush-hush, and then the job that he's now got, because of the Windrush thing, he got that even though he voted to keep it hush-hush.
He should also be given a pay rise and kept in his job, because he's doing such a fabulous... Oh, what a great man. Absolutely fantastic. I am, of course, taking the piss. Literary devices themselves served as formalised methods of seeming to indulge certain information, while actually offering instead falsified data. Where have you heard of that? Falsified... False flag... Fake news. Right? No question. This is the living, this is the light. In those days was answered directly, not by those who were at all literate.
So, just like these days then?
It's amazing.
I refer you to my previous reply.
I refer you to my right honourable colleague, who never answers the question. You ask Theresa May a question, or he asks Boris a question, you ask Trump a question, but you never really get a correct answer, do you?
I never said that.
Yeah, and then says something completely different the next day, and then reiterates.
Politicians, you know you can trust them.
Oh, totally. You are taking the...
Oh, definitely.
To answer a question directly meant that you were simple-minded and lacked any appreciation of the questioner's greater intelligence. Now, Mrs. May, are you selling weapons of mass destruction, yes or no? Well, I went to that country and I had such a wonderful time. I had a dance and then I came home and we did economic deals for the Greater of Britain. Did you sell any weapons? Well, there were wonderful people there and they had a good time as well too, you know. And then the plane was nice.
And
the
then
food
I did
was
another
nice on the
dance.
plane. And then, you know, I sort of roboted on stage and... Did you sell weapons of mass destruction? Well, my husband, you know, is a wonderful businessman.
Yes.
It goes on like that, doesn't it?
Got 40 acres of cannabis growing.
And cannabis has no medicinal benefits whatsoever. So, Mrs. May, did you sell any weapons?
But wait, if it's got no medical benefits, why is a husband growing it, and why are they now going to, as from November the 1st, going to be prescribing it? If it's, does this mean that Theresa May is a liar?
I've got an answer for you, and it's religious. It's
religion.
It's religious.
Religion.
Because of the prophets.
Which prophet? Muhammad?
No, oh, peace be upon him. Usalim. You know, I asked some Islamic friends of mine this. What is prophet? Oh, it's Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he received this message from somebody called Allah, the God. And then he told you what to do, yes. So, this is my friend, Mac, we'll call him today, and I'm KaK, so it's the KaK M Show. And KaK and I decided to go to manufacture for some spectacles. So you can...
Or pinholes.
Or pinholes. Right, and we can get these spectacles at $1 each, yeah? So we buy, say, 1,000 of them, and we sell them at $3 each. So what have we made?
2,000.
In?
Money.
And it's called?
Cash.
No.
Profit.
Yes! Profit! That's what profit is.
Someone's always profiting from us.
It says, in other words, you do not understand how to translate the material properly from many of the older records that we've got, even when the translations per se are correct. And basically, he's going on about, you would call whole pages of the Dead Sea Scrolls tremendous put-ons, since whole pages in literal terms are not true.
Well, if there's a whole page, there's a hole in the page.
Yeah. Do you want a little bit more?
Ah, well.
Different page?
Yeah.
Page 93 is interesting, isn't it?
It is.
So basically, what's been in the news today? These
the
mail bombs.
Yeah, but as well as that, the actress...
Didn't the IRA used to do that ages ago because they couldn't get in with the British government because the British government got all the money, so they wanted in?
Actually, as it turns out, they were actually working for the British government. Keep the population in fear, you'll keep control of them.
They're really all in it together. Are all in it together. Amazing. I wonder what they're going to come out with tomorrow. It won't be for our benefit, will it? Or entitlement. So Seth is talking here. He says, oh yeah, that's quite funny. He says, the young woman through whom I speak once stated in a poem, and I quote, these atoms speak and call themselves my name. It says, now your physical body is a field of energy with a certain form. However, and when someone asks you your name, what is your name?
What is not my name?
Who are you?
Me.
Correct. Who did you think I was? Or, ask me.
Who are you?
I've forgotten. Ask me again.
Who are you now?
Am I the name on the birth certificate?
No. That is a corporation set up by the government.
Is that what you're... If you want my details, say for the police or the council, for council tax or the government...
Well, you see, the police are a corporation, and corporations can only deal with other corporations. And if you don't give the name of the corporation that was set up when your birth certificate was registered, then we can't prosecute you. Well, not you, but your corporation.
Oh, I'm blinded by all this light.
Ah, that's the Freemasons for you. Light, and more light.
Apparently light's the only material. So, yeah, going on the name, ask me for my name again.
What's your name?
Are you asking me to commit a criminal act of fraud?
Yes.
By providing you with something which does not belong to me?
Yes, because then I can contract with you and screw you over.
But on my birth certificate, it says not to be used for identification purposes, and on the front, you know this, it says Crown copyright.
Yes.
Because I'm a subject of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. She owns me.
Well, she owns your corporation.
Somebody above me and above all of us owns us.
Don't forget, it's never the man, the flesh and blood living man or woman. It's always the corporation. But they've tricked us so well that we actually believe that we are that name, that corporation.
That's a load of KaK.
Says Mac.
It says, yeah, I'll go in here. Yeah, and when someone asks you your name, your lips speak it, and yet the name does not belong to the atoms and molecules in the lips that utter the syllables. Blah, 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 blah. The name has meaning only to you, or a person who wants to have control over you. Apparently in ancient times, like ancient Egyptian times, if the pharaoh got your name, he had a certain power and control over you. But that's why he had a given name and then a throne name. But it was encased in a cartouche and you couldn't have harm done to it. I mean, if you say don't pay your TV licence and they say what is your name and you give it, then they can take you to court and do what you like because it's the name that they're prosecuting.
You've just contracted, yes.
Kate of Gaia mentioned this. She mentioned this. Lose the name, win the game. It's like, you know, if you get the water bill and you write on it, tenant moved overseas, and then you get the reminder, occupant moved abroad. And after 9 days you should get one addressed to who?
The occupier. Or
the legal occupier. An occupier is an illegal army at your house, isn't
exactly. So if you admit to being the illegal occupier, you're taking the rap again.
It's great fun. You know when they come to the door and you you go on the video camera on, you go, you'll be on YouTube. I've never seen anybody run so fast. What you've got to be afraid of. So within your body you cannot put the finger upon your own identity. If you could travel within your body, you could not find where your identity resides, yet you say, this is my body, this is my name. If you cannot be found even by yourself within your body, then where is this identity of yours that claims to hold the cells and organs of its own?
Well, this is actually quite interesting, because when you go to court and they ask...
A place where games are played.
Where do you live? And you give your address, well, if you're in court, how can you be living at that address when you're in court?
You're in a dock, you're a ship.
Exactly. When I'm asked, where do I live in this vessel.
Actually, you've got a good point there. Yeah, where do I live? I reside in this this vessel called a human body. I am a god, couched in creaturehood. Seth says that. Do you want to read some more? It says your identity obviously has some connection with your body. Since you have no trouble distinguishing your body, flesh and blood and bones, from somebody else's, flesh and blood, body, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, different vessel, you certainly have no trouble distinguishing between your body and the chair, say, which upon you may sit. And we're sitting on chairs today. In a larger manner, the identity of the soul can be seen from the same viewpoint. It knows who it is, and it's far more certain of its identity, indeed, than your physical self is of its identity. And yet now, where in the electromagnetic energy field can the identity of the soul, as such, be found? And when it should be asked, who are you, it would simply answer, I. And I is infinite.
Intelligence.
Food for thought, my friends, viewers. Thank you for watching the KaK M Show. We may have some more of this. And if you've got any questions, please don't ask us, because we don't know anything. We really don't know. Do your own research and you probably might wake up one day.